Hello Aquarius friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Aquarius April 2022 Astrology Must Knows Horoscope Forecast. If you are watching this through YouTube, fantastic. If you are listening to this on my syndicated and very fast growing podcast version, Astro Kisses, then welcome to all of you. This is for you if Aquarius is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or if you are a zealot that goes deeper into your chart. This is for you if it's Mercury in Aquarius or Venus or Mars or whatever you watch for. What we're going to talk about here will be part of your astrological picture. And if you're not sure where your placements are and you want to know, when you go to anniehelpsyou.com, not only is that the interface for all of the goodies I make for you each month, but also you can see where to sign up for my newsletter list, which will get you access to software to run a free birth chart in the welcome letter that comes when you sign up. So you can get into lots of details in your chart and use the information I give you in these readings in even deeper ways. So you can find that link if you missed it in the notes underneath the podcast, or if you click under the More button with the arrow in the bottom right of the YouTube video. Okay. So what do we have going on this month? Oh, one other housekeeping note. If you are a very late degree Aquarius placement, so if your birthday is February 15th through the rest of the sign, or your degrees are like 23 to 25 through the rest of the sign, I recommend that you additionally listen to or watch my Pisces report, because you very late degree people have a very complex read and you will find pieces through both of those readings. Okay, so April is one of my favorite months of the whole entire year, and we've got a lot of reasons for that. First big must know is that we've got 2 times the sweet aspects than we do the salty, and that is a blessing. It is rare that that happens. We've got a monstrous amount of sweet energy where the planets are in accord and speaking a beautiful language that makes sense to each other, and we've got a couple of little bumps. We do have a big outer planet connection, Jupiter and Neptune, which I've done a separate video on. But in general, we've got that sweetness that is abounding this month. We also have still this open period. So March 3rd through April 27th is a time when the personal planets, Mars, Venus, and retrograde, or Mars, Venus, and Mercury are not retrograde. So the diciness, the uncertainty, the plans changing, can't figure out what's going on or make or plan anything a day ahead that goes with the retrogrades is not happening at this time. So you've got one of the few open periods this month. We've got March 3rd through April 27th, and then around June 19th through August 21st are the only open periods free from personal planet retrograde mischief that we have in the whole of 2022. So you'll want to take advantage of these times for action-oriented outcomes, taking big steps, clarity, planning, engagements, weddings, big parties. You can travel any time of the year. Mercury retrograde is fine for that. The other ones are fine for that. But it's much easier to travel when it's not in the retrogrades, because it's more likely that your plans that you set will stay set and won't be constantly called into question. So you've got a beautiful time for travel. You've got a beautiful time for big purchases, big sales, making decisions, investments. And so this is just a wonderful open period that we are celebrating along with those sweet aspects. So that's a big must know. Another big must know is that we do have eclipses this month and next month. We're going to go into details about where you're likely to see those changes come, but I just want to let you right now know that this is the heat of the eclipse season. April and May are the hottest time. That eclipse season starts mid-March and goes through even the end of June, but we're in the heat of it now. Life-changing trajectory shifts, big hellos, big goodbyes, sudden transformation, sudden materialization are definitely all in this potential. And if you're looking for action and activity, if things have been stagnant, the odds that things are going to start speeding up and changing are very much increased at this time. So if you're looking for that, it's definitely a good chance that that's going to happen. Okay, so now let's talk about the fact that the planets are starting to move into Aries. They started in March, and now we're developing that. We're getting more of this robust forward movement, initiating, spunky energy, and you've got multiple reasons as an Aquarius why your motivation levels are increasing and possibly going through the roof. Because Mars, the ruler of action, is in your sign. That only happens once every 2 years, so you're still working with that. So it can be definitely lighting a fire under your butt to take action, and you really don't have a better time in the whole of 2022 because This open period that we're in now is also supported by the forward moving Aries energies. So you have the motivation, you have the stars aligned, so it's a time where impetus and follow through are all matching in these beautiful ways. And the Aries placements make a 60-degree angle of opportunity with your Aquarius placements, which means that things could come to you, but you might have to look for them. You might not recognize them if you're just kind of sitting back and waiting for things to happen. You might have to actually do something with the opportunities that come. That is the tendency of the 60-degree angle, where someone gives you something or offers you something, but if you don't say yes and activate it, it could just fizzle out and pass right by and feel like nothing's happening because you're not doing something with or looking for the potentials that are there to do something with, okay? So those energies are very prevalent. We do still have Pisces energies that are bringing a high emotion, a lot of inward sort of reflective energy. And there is a strong focus on your finances at this time, very strong focus. And hopefully that's in the form of expansion. But there's definitely a lot of things that are pointing towards asking questions about the sustainability of your finances and your work and even your footprint on the earth. So those topics are coming up now. Mars is really pushing you to look at your physical body, to look at your image, to make changes in your physicality or your habits or the way people see you, and to redefine yourself in a way that's more accurate for this current time, and throw out those old ways that people are holding you into an imprint that you are no longer in resonance with, which might mean you have to have some conversations. But this is a good time to have those conversations where you might be saying, hey, mom, stop calling me this name. I really resonate with this name. Or hey, boss, stop just seeing me as this role where I really can be in these roles. Whatever it is, you're ready to expand your image of yourself, and you're ready to communicate what that expansion looks like to others so that they can either be on board or they can give you some resistance and you can hold your ground or do what you want to do. But it's definitely a good time to bring up the conversations and to set the boundaries wherever necessary. Now, this third house of travel and mobility is also being activated. It usually means you're going to be super busy driving, walking, flying all around the place. And this can also be a high time of communication, chatting with people, interacting with people, a very social time, a time of in-person and virtual interactions, where the topics of mobility are also brought in, and communication, so your devices and things like that. So purchases of new cars and vehicles or devices like computers and phones, beautiful, beautiful time for that, especially if it's an upgrade. Okay, this is a time where your communication and transportation wants to be upgraded, either into something more secure or sure or safe or usable. And that can enhance how you bring your image out into the world, how you own what you're bringing. And that is something else that's a big time for Aquarius, or a big must know for Aquarius, is that there are certain things that you're bringing, and you've got to come to terms with those gifts. Do you have friends or family that are saying, hey, you're really good at this, or hey, don't get down on yourself about this, and you haven't really been hearing it or owning it? This might be a time to say, hey, tell me those things again that you see in me. I'm really ready to own that now. And you can really change your life. And this link to communication is very strong for you right now. So it's the thinking and the communication of the ideas and the intentions. Now, you might find that you're having to get more selective with the people that you share your dreams and the things you're working on. If you have somebody that habitually is just a bummer and not being positive about the things that you're trying to manifest, you might have to set the boundary, and they might not even know it, of you not telling that person those things. If you always call a parent or a friend and they're always like, whatever, downing whatever you're trying to do, this is a time to find and to really lock in with, even if you have to look online for online support groups of people who are manifesting or people who are trying to do whatever you're trying to do, where they can energize what it is that you're trying to do, and you can amplify your intentions and the outcomes by the combining of like-minded people who are speaking that same language. Okay? So let's see. Okay, so we are going to have that Jupiter-Neptune aspect. I'm not going to go into tremendous detail here because I did a separate video on this. So if you just search for Annie Botticelli, Jupiter conjunct or Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, you can find it on my homepage. You can find it on my podcast pages. Then you really want to know about this because outer planets coming together, they're slow moving, the implications last for a long time, and they can be very long lasting into the future. And when they connect, they often have very big, loud outcomes because they're outer planets, right? And that's the kind of things that they bring. But one thing I did want to let you know is that this connection for you is going to happen in the second house of money. So whatever outcomes that are potentials, and there are a lot of them, the odds that something notable will happen in that financial sector are very much increased by the fact that this outer planet connection is happening there for you. But definitely listen to that video to see, because I went into a lot of details about the potentials and the equation to help understand how the connections coming together can bring certain outcomes. Okay, so the last big must know is about these eclipses. Okay, we've got April 30th, we've got a solar eclipse at 10 degrees of Taurus. In May 16th, we have at 25 degrees of Scorpio, a lunar eclipse. We'll talk about that one in the May report. But first, I want to talk a little bit about what eclipses tend to bring. Then we're going to talk about the Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle. I'll give you some dates for your frame of reference, dates that these eclipses have happened in the past, so you can think back to the themes that happened then, and just to kind of understand these better. And then we'll drill down into where this is going to be in your personal chart. Okay, so let's talk about some general implications of eclipses and some dates and frames of reference, and then we'll dive into the details about where you're going to see the eclipse changes in your chart and in your life. So eclipses bring big changes. They are connected to the North and South node, which are calculated points on the ecliptic that relate to our highest expression in this lifetime, our dharma, fate and destiny, our karma, and activating our hidden gifts. And so you'll see a very big activation time. You'll feel the hand of the divine at work through synchronicity and non-negotiable trajectory shifts, major hellos and goodbyes, big windows closing and other ones opening. Eclipses tend to bring a lot of stress and drama. They can also bring a massive amount of manifestation, things that you've always wanted in many cases. So it's definitely a time where you feel like your finger's stuck in an electric socket for an extended period of time. So from the middle of March to the middle of June, we are in eclipse season. The eclipses are on April 30th and on May 16th. And this first eclipse is going to be on April 30th. It's a solar eclipse at 10 degrees of Taurus. All right, so this Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle started towards the end of 2021. We started to really heat that up September, October of 2021 and really felt it through January of 2022. And we are in this cycle until the end of 2023. Anything can happen from this storyline of the Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle at any time during these years. But it does tend to heat up and bring into the forefront, into our consciousness, 6 weeks before and after the actual eclipses. That's why I said the middle of March, and then we've got one on May 16th. So we've got like to the middle end of June. This is our eclipse season, and it's very ripe with the types of things that we just listed. Now, to have a frame of reference as to the types of changes that might occur or storylines, think about the latter part of 2012 through the end of 2014. And also think about early 2004 through mid-2005. It's important to note, and I do often get this question, if something terrible happened then, does it mean something terrible is going to happen now? No, not necessarily, because there were other factors at play at that time, and it's hard to tell what changes were due to the combination of factors in those times, which might not be present at this time. But there are definitely themes that occurred at that time that are going to be coming back around now, and we'll go into the details of that for your sign here in a second, but just to kind of give some context, if you remember back to those periods of time, and the types of changes that happened then. You might see some parallels, some opportunities to make different choices, some lessons that were learned in that time frame that you are able to come back around now, and some patterns of experience, even for better or could be for worse, that you're still clearing through that could come back around for you to do some more work on. For every sign, Taurus and Scorpio relates to my stuff and our stuff. My individual sustainability, our coupleship or our relationship, your resources versus your resources shared with other people like the government or your spouse or your family, inheritances, sweepstakes, winnings, plus your individual income. This is the polarity we're talking about. So the push and pull between me and we and us and our stuff and my stuff is very strong. The material realm versus the intangible spiritual realm are all things that are going to come up into the forefront for all signs. Okay, so now that you have a good understanding about what eclipses can bring and the energy of the Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle, let's see where this is going to happen for you. For Aquarius placements in the whole house perspective, the whole house chart, this is going to be in the 4th house for everyone, okay? So the 4th house means new energy in home and family, which can come through pregnancies, births, purchase of a new home, new roommates, new landlords, remodeling, any of those types of things. Can mean you have a second property, like a vacation home. It can mean your sense of home. Something important is going on with your home real estate sector or your family. So a new addition, a nephew, a niece, a child, a grandbaby, or a person that feels like a family member, a pet, something new in your home. All right. And this is an earth energy. So it's often going to be very solid, very material. Now, sometimes we do have to say goodbye to something in order to say hello to something else. So you might see those as well, but there is a lot of energy, and this is for all Aquarius placements, okay? So from the Placidus perspective, the energies can actually also be present in the 3rd house for all Aquarius placements, and that's because it's at an early degree. And because it's at an early degree, even though it's in the 4th house, it's flavoring the 3rd house. And the later you go into the Aquarius sign, the more the chart switches back, and you might actually have the actual eclipse from the Placidus perspective in the 3rd house, okay? So the 3rd house can bring, we talked about the fact that you have an active 3rd house, communication, transportation, but now with the presence of the eclipse there, it really increases the odds of some kind of new energy there. You know, a new car, a new device. Those potentials were there from the other transits, but the eclipse tends to bring in something notable, which means that something might happen to your old ones. So this is a time to be extra careful when you're driving, extra careful with your car. You know, when you're walking, please do not text or do distracting things when you're walking or driving. Now, you know, in general, I don't preach a bunch of stuff to you. I'm here to help you develop and, you know, your self-development and make the most of your the potentials, but and I don't bring a lot of my opinions or other things in, but I do really have to alert you to the fact that I have had people write to me and say that me talking about this has saved their life. Okay, so this makes it very important. I had multiple people say I was about to cross the street and your words came in my mind because I was texting and I stopped short and I would have gotten hit. Same thing with driving, okay? This is a time to drop the habit of doing distracting things. I know it's hard for some people in certain age groups to believe, but we didn't have cell phones always. We didn't have distractions like that when we were driving before. And so there's no place for driving and texting and walking. And the odds that something bad could happen from those habits are increased now. So to protect yourself and other people, really hear that the energy of the eclipse in this sector is increasing distraction, increasing agitation, and we want the positive aspects to manifest, and so the consciousness and the awareness can help to protect you and to bring the more positive effects if that's in your hands to do. All right, so if you want to have more information about how I've seen these eclipses, I've tracked these eclipses over decades, how I've seen them manifest in the 4th and 3rd house, I have separate videos on that, okay? So all Aquarius placements, look for Annie Botticelli eclipses in the 4th house. It's also called eclipses in Cancer because that's the 4th house ruler. And all Aquarius placements, look for eclipses in Gemini or eclipses in the 3rd house. So just search for Annie Botticelli, eclipses in 3rd house or Gemini. And then all of these will be potentials for all of the Aquarius placements. You can find them on my YouTube home page in the eclipse playlist, or you can search for them organically. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!